All right, I'm going to ask you. It's probably just a matter of getting them lined up. Yep, there's going to be, again, a little bit of a delay here, but again, we had some technical issues prior to the start of tonight's proceedings, so getting them lined up, again, might not be possible. So, yeah, you're definitely going to want to watch the timers very, very carefully. And hopefully there's not a stoppage like we had in game number 4 of that last match. Good. Oh, Rick got fooled. Oh, that was almost a perfect nuke there, but unfortunately, just a pinch too early there. You hate to see it. The Firebroth's going to have the lead.
Yeah, it's hard to call. 52,000 is the least amount of score you can have walking out of room 1, so that's one way to kind of judge if it's safe to use that bomb or not.
So it's about a 4-second lead for Firebroth going into collect power-ups. Not a good opener there for RambleRick. Gets the grenades, just going to ignore it. An excellent first drop for Firebroth. It is the Vitamin R, but the second drop is an orb. Let's see if RambleRick can keep it nice and healthy.
Yeah, if he can, this definitely gives him advantage, but Firebroth knows how to use those rockets, so now it's when, and as I say that, RambleRick drops it.
Yeah, tough break there. Firebroth, though, not really getting any other weapons here, so no orb to take with him into Eat My Shrapnel, and the Shrapnel picks him off. Yikes. Firebroth, a 130. He's not going to be pleased about that time, but he does have a 17-second lead on RambleRick.
All right, Firebroth making the right move, in my opinion. Get rid of the shrapnel first, go for the drop afterwards, even if it is a rocket.
All right, yeah, rockets are always a good opener here in Eat My Shrapnel. Remember, it is 18 of the Mr. Shrapnels that you have to take out, but only a maximum of 4 can be on the screen at once as RambleRick gets the goods, gets the rocket, gets the orb. Remember, if you're getting weapon drops without an orb, that is fine and dandy, but if you don't get any weapon drops and you don't have that orb, that's when you can really get into some trouble there.
Yeah, just with the amount of ammunition it takes without the orb to kill a shrapnel, it does allow the enemies to stack up a little bit if they want to.
It's an 18-second lead for Firebroth that could shrink if RambleRick is able to keep that orb healthy. But Firebroth, if he can get good quality weapon drops, to keep him lasting into this room, he can mitigate some of that time loss.
Yep, Firebroth making use of the rockets. Wait until some enemies come out, then kill them. Get more for your money with that situation. A key for RambleRick, but still with the orb. I mean, it's going to prove time and time again that's what you need.
Now, to be fair, RambleRick has been playing corner strats, so he's not going to get as much mileage out of the orb as he would otherwise, and then he gets picked off by the purple shirt, unfortunately. Firebroth, still no orb, finally gets an orb late in the room. In fact, the last drop of Total Carnage. It's still a 3:12, a respectable time into the bonus room.
Yeah, I mean, hey, if you're going to have an orb for basically only one room, Tank Trouble's that room you wanted in.
He's got a little bit of clip left of the rocket. He'll be able to take down one gunner, but not both.
Yeah, just aim for the top left one, maybe kill him, maybe get some damage, but take out that shrapnel at the same time if the orb's positioned correctly.
All right, and it's going to be a 3:52, 40 seconds is the lead. Yeah, he had one shot left, that was it.
Yeah, he got that shrapnel and then a couple bullets, took care of the gunner, so made good use of it.
Absolutely, nice use of the nuke there to take down the second wall gunner, and now he'll try to keep control of the middle and hopefully get some good weapons to come into that orb, because it's very difficult, because we compare this to an Arena 3 room here with the way that the enemies come out of all 4 doors.
Yep, just imagine this for about 20 straight minutes.
At least, depending on what your skill level is in this game.
Yeah, that's at the very least, most likely.
I'll tell you what, that was a really good play room. That last shrapnel is going to go off on Firebroth, but this is still a respectable time. 4:32 into Mutoid Man. What is Firebroth's PB? It's in the 5s, I know that. It's a 5:52. Under 80 seconds, that's quite a tough sell, but if you were to do that, that's a PB.
We've seen it before. There you go, Spreader. Oh, didn't take the death.
Yeah, it was in a very precarious spot, and he's doing a good job getting manuals, though.
Yeah, if you're along the edge and he's up against you, it's pretty much free manuals for you.
Well, nothing's ever free in this game. What are you talking about, 40 watt?
Yeah, that's true. I said pretty much free.
Right, pretty much free. That's the appropriate answer there. Ramble loses his orb to one of the green shirts there in tank trouble.
Yeah, tank trouble causing him exactly that. Taking the death, clearing it out though, regaining composure, and now he's out the door.
There's a spreader, 539 into the Mutoid Man fight. I mean, I know we're out of drum borders awards here, but RambleRick could get a PB here.
Firebroth nailing the newly, tuned sweet spot.
Yep, that's just been discovered very, very recently here. So like I said, I expect to see a lot of PBs. I expect to see some new sub 6 runners, and who knows, maybe, just maybe, we'll get that sub 5 run.
Rysolve, CHX, you have homework.
And maybe even Prince Leaf, although I don't know how much he wants to invest into the homework. I know that he may not be as established of a runner as Brysolf and CHX, but it is going to be Firebroth taking game number 1, and it's going to be about a 2-minute Mutoid Man fight. So solid performance there by Firebroth.
I think CHX basically said it best, is that any sub 6 runner has the potential to get world record.
Oh, I don't doubt that for a nanosecond.
Lobbers plowing in, the arm popping off on the third form now for RambleRick. Spreader went manual, not getting that extra damage though. For those of you that don't know, if you see those orange blasts coming out, that means the damage is not happening. As discovered today, it's actually those orange blasts doing the damage.
Absolutely. And unfortunately, that's going to be continued there for RambleRick and not able to get to those rockets. It's grenades. And 847 is his PB, so I mean, even though he's not won game number 1, he definitely has a big chance here to get a good PB out of this. I mean, I know that's what it shows on the GG on the speedrun website. I mean, it's possible he may have gotten another one since, but I'm simply going off of what we see on the website. Final form for RambleRick.
Just like our boy Dark Lord Gonzo. I know he has like a 538, but unfortunately he wasn't recording. He only has a picture of the timer.
Yep, and you know what the old saying is, no vids, no dids.
Yeah, especially this day and age.
And that is a PB for RambleRick, provided that he did get one previously, but he has to clear the rest of the Mr. Shrapnels, which he does. So props to RambleRick. That'll be a new PB. It'll be an 813. Very nicely done.
Awesome. GG. I don't think anyone's ever forgotten to clear out the shrapnels before leaving Mutoid Man.
I know why you say that, and I'm not going to say anything else there, 40 watt. Because it's part of a certain top 10 package that we've shown in past montages in the history of the Super Smash TV tournament. We'll just move right along. What do you say?
Yep, I agree.
Okay, but congratulations there to RambleRick. That's a big cut, by the way. Again, I'm only going by what is on the speedrun website. I mean, it is possible he's had a faster time than that, but if we go off of that, that's more than a half minute right there. So GG.
Absolutely love to see the people making the growth.
All right, so game number 2 coming up between Ramble and Firebroth. I'll tell you, Ramble had a pretty solid Mutoid Man fight. I tell you, the final couple of forms riding those lobbers there, he definitely showed some good skills there. I think if he can clean up that Arena 1 a little bit more, I think we could see the PB continue to go down, down, down for RambleRick.
Yep, just getting a little more comfortable with tank trouble, maybe with total carnage, and it'll be absolutely there. I see that Firebroth now has a new PB of 0.46 seconds. GG's to him.
I don't know what category that is, but yeah, that's a hell of a PB right there. I'm going to get both runners ready there. And yes, that isn't officially a PB for RambleRick, so GG to him.
Awesome. All right, so as LOZ gets them ready, just again, thank you to GG Speedruns. If anyone is curious as to when the matches are, check the challenge website. I believe it's challenge.com/SmashTV6, the number 6 that is. Any predetermined times will be listed on the bracket matches there, so that's your best place to go.
Most certainly. So both runners have been counted down here. So there we go. Game number 2 is underway. We're much more in sync this time around. RambleRick versus Firebroth. Here we go.
Ooh, RambleRick not doing this setup. It's definitely not needed, but definitely preferred.
Yeah, it definitely helps out. No question about it. But you're right. It is not necessarily needed, but it's definitely going to give you that upper hand, clearing out the enemies that, make contact with that razor shield. And then, that's why Firebroth is going to come out of there with a considerably faster time than RambleRick. It's going to be a high 41 as opposed to like about a 48, 49 or something like that. 48.
Yeah, I think if played optimally, it can make a 2-second difference.
All right, so here we go with collect power-ups. A foot to start for Firebroth, followed by spreaders. Okay, drops. There's a spreader. Oh, but RambleRick gets clubbed down. I don't know if he's going to be able to get to it. No, he's not.
Yep, Firebroth with the razor shield, using it. My razor shield, my favorite weapon, just plowing into guys. He's using it exactly like I like, and now getting the orb.
Yep, Firebroth getting the works here. And that is going to be a 127 into Eat My Shrapnel.
Clearing out the right side. Now clearing out, for those of you joining us or not aware, this room is slightly different than the rest, because not only do you have to clean out all of those foot soldiers, but you got to clean out 18 of those shrapnels, either by your hand or theirs. Only 4 of them can be on the screen, so if you have more than 4 on the screen, you're losing time.
And certainly there, and Firebroth keeping the room under control with the orb in hand. Again, the pea shooter will do the job as long as you've got that orb. And that's it for Firebroth. 209 into Total Carnage.
Yep, doing a little sweep. Oh, forgetting one guy. Almost got him.
Yeah, that was very close there. He's going to have to... Good patience there by Firebroth.
Yeah, but he swung into that door right as the orb was going. It made me clench a little.
Yeah, that was a 25% chance, but it feels more like a 99% chance when you do that. You're going to lose that orb.
Oh, for sure.
He's getting a little bit overwhelmed, this Firebroth. He's having to dance a lot to keep the purple soldiers out of his hair.
It's that, I'm telling you, it's that weird medium pace. It's the only time you encounter it during this run, and it's just something weird about it. It's not slow and it's not fast.
Firebroth using the orb to block that piece of that shrapnel there before he's able to get the rockets on the bottom left corner.
And that is the only thing the orb can technically hit and stay alive.
And that is going to be the end of the room. A solid Total Carnage, 313 into the bonus room for Firebroth. Rockets now for RambleRick. Hasn't seen another orb. So that time is going to be bleeding here.
Meanwhile, Firebroth just waiting for the question mark. For those of you running, watch those presents, the second set of presents. When they flash, that's exactly when the question mark shows up. So don't even watch the question mark. Firebroth getting that smart bomb, clearing out the room and making good time of the clear space, killing both gunners now.
Yeah, that was a well-played maneuver there by Firebroth. If you're not going to get rockets, yeah, use that nuke. Take the time where the foot soldiers aren't spawning to focus on the gunners.
Ooh, Firebroth making that footwork work, not losing that orb. Good movements.
And he's got about a 50-second lead with the orb still intact as Firebroth. I mean, yeah, he's definitely showing the skills. Firebroth keeping that orb intact. It's going to be another solid entry time into Mute to Man. In fact, a better one than last game. It's going to be a 427. So again, PB opportunity exists for Firebroth.
Yeah, this will be rough for RambleRick to recover from, because not only is he an entire room down, it's tank trouble of all rooms.
Well, there's an orb, but yeah, trying to keep an orb in tank trouble is almost impossible. No ball buster, unfortunately, for Firebroth, and does get the death, but if a spreader comes up, it'll be worth it. And it's Rocket.
Yeah, just moved in a little too early and got clipped by the arm, I believe.
Yeah, good old Mutoid Man flexing his muscles, showing the runners who's boss. Especially to these runners who've already established really good PBs. It's like, hey, you want that 5.4x? You want that 5.3x? Not on my watch, Buster.
Oh yeah, it's definitely gonna make you work for it. RambleRick just plowing into everybody, picking up a spreader now. Probably getting, yeah, it looked like he got taken by a tank bullet.
And there's the rib cage exposed. Firebroth riding the lobber train here in this fight. The old school strats. I guess you could call it the new old school strats, as it were, with the new knowledge regarding the hitboxes on Mutoid Man.
Yeah, it's kind of like refined knowledge, because I know Jack had pointed this out ages ago. So now it's just more like, here is the exact sweet spot.
It's a 550 for Ramble, but it's final form time for Firebroth. Lobber, probably one more. Yeah, this Lobber, if he lands all of his shots, this is going to be enough. But he's missing a lot of them, so that might not be enough.
Yeah, he was in a weird spot with that mine, Mutoid Man. I don't know why he didn't grab that spreader, but...
But
oh, there he
the
goes. He
reason
didn't
why.
need it. That's why. He didn't need it. That's why.
He didn't need it, exactly. Just had enough of that Lobber clip to finish the job, and game number 2 goes to Firebroth. Another impressive performance, just under the 630.
GG's to Firebroth, taking it up to 2-0. Will it be a sweep? Firebroth is playing really nice right now, and RambleRick really got it bad this run.
Yeah, I mean, he most certainly did. Well, there's a spreader, but he could have run into the mine there.
Yeah, I have a feeling RambleRick may not know of, the needed strategy.
Yeah, there we go.
Maybe
we go. Hey, there you go. All right, that was good. Is that a glitch toad? Not quite. I thought that was going to be a glitch toad for a second. He must have had a few more hits and he would have gotten it, right? Yeah, that close.
Yep, just enough.
He could PB again here. Spreader, come on.
Yeah, let's see it.
Lobber's good, but that's not a spreader game. See, now I'm calling for spreaders like Brysolf would at his PB attempts.
I always noted once when I first started Brysolf, I'm like, why is this guy always screaming about this? And then 3 years later, there's me screaming about it.
Yep, and here I am. I'm not even playing the game, and I'm screaming, spreader. It's not going to be a PB, unfortunately, for RambleRick, but I must say his Mutoid Man fights have been relatively solid. If again, like I mentioned at the end of game number 1, if he could just clean up his arena play, we're going to see those PBs shrink, or the PB times shrink down dramatically. I'm telling you.
Yeah, absolutely. We always say that Mutoid Man is half the run, so if you can clean up that first half, which is just, everything before Mutoid Man, it can really make a dent in your time.
Unfortunately, the final form, yep, we see this all the time. I don't care if you're a new runner, an old runner, or somewhere in between. This is the typical Mutoid Man luck that you see on the final form. Nothing but empty drops. That will do it.
And there we go.
So game number 2 goes to Firebroth. Another solid performance there for RambleRick, but he is up against it now. He needs to win the next 3 or he will be eliminated from the tournament.
All right, so here we come with game number 3. We're getting them all ready. Again, this is an elimination match, so this is life or death for RambleRick. And as I said earlier, there is nothing wrong with being early. It just means you were courteous and signed up.
I must say, Prince Leaf with the cold hard facts here. He says, fun note about this match. Firebroth has picked up 0 keys and 0 dudes so far.
You don't need them. The only time the way I look at dudes, though, is it could be an extra spreader chance. It could be the difference between the spreader and a continue, you know?
Yeah, because a continue costs, what, 5-6 seconds?
Yeah, it can, between the time you get in and it gives you control and everything, yeah.
All right, here we go. Game number 3 underway between RambleRick and Firebroth. Must win for RambleRick. Firebroth has been playing very well, though.
Yeah, I think Firebroth is now well warmed up and ready to go. You get the tournament out of your mind, and, you know, once you're at game 3, it's just smooth sailing from there mentally.
There's the nuke.
Beautiful usage.
Very beautiful indeed. That's exactly what you want to do with that nuke. It's very difficult to time. It'll be a mid 40 for Firebroth. All right, and that'll be the end of the room for RambleRick. It'll be about a 49-50, 9.5 second lead for Firebroth, and starts with rockets.
Yeah, always a beautiful first drop. He can go ahead and ignore those grenades, which he is doing.
All right, there's a foot for RambleRick as his first drop, and gets clubbed down. More rockets, though. The rich getting richer here.
It's always the weird feelings where you're happy you're getting rockets and mad you're not getting
Wow, 78 seconds, a hot time going into Eat My Shrapnel for Firebroth. But he does want to see that orb because he may have more aspirations on his mind than just winning this game.
Oh yeah, Firebroth, I believe, is not playing safe or anything. I believe Firebroth is playing as if it's any old PB attempt.
Absolutely here. He's picking up everything he can get his hands on, and his patience pays off. There's the orb for Firebroth. But RambleRick gets an orb of his own at the end of collect power-ups.
Yep, and I mean, even though there is some time, it's not like the gap last time yet, so it's still pretty close.
That'll be the last Mr. Shrapnel for Firebroth. 201 into Total Carnage. There's a key for Rick. Now, again, as long as he has the orb, that's not really going to be a problem taking down Mr. Shrapnel's. But again, you got to make sure that he's let it go all out of control. He's going to lose some time.
Yeah, there's another 4 on the screen. You know, you got a little window where if you can kill a 4th one quickly, you won't lose time. But pretty much, you're losing time if there's 4 on the screen.
Firebroth here, not really getting any weapons here in Total Carnage. 2:30, so 29 seconds is the lead. Both runners do have the orb intact. Rockets, though, for Firebroth, they're going to have to work for that. And loses the orb. A little mistake there.
Yeah, I always tell people, you got to have the exit plan. You can't just go for the drop. You need to know how you're getting home, too.
Late Razor Shield there for Firebroth, and going to get the spreader.
RambleRick's orb getting clipped now, so now he's just having to run around to maintain it again.
304 into the bonus room with half a clip of spreader left. He does not have the orb anymore, but this is still a pretty good pace.
Yeah, 304 is nothing to be shy about. Most optimal runners are looking for 3 and under, so 3 and 4 as well in the butter zone.
Vulnerability for Ramble. Then there's a razor shield on the foot. Oh, shrapneled.
Yeah, ran right into that one.
Yeah, that is never any fun.
Firebroth taking the corner, cleaning it out safely, dancing through some bullets, getting clubbed dead center, right on top of rockets.
Yeah, nice use of the nukes there, but yeah, rockets there for Firebroth. Late orb here for RambleRick. Now let's see if he can keep it to the end of this room.
More
yes,
rockets
he does.
Firebroth too.
All right,
and
358.
then taking the death, as you can see him screaming now in the webcam.
Yeah, not happy about that. So that kind of hot pace that he had early on, that's kind of gone away a little bit here.
Yeah, not having the orb, but he's had 3 or 4 rocket drops so far alone in this room, so at least there's that.
Yeah, you tend to get a lot of rockets when you don't have the orb for some reason or another. Gee, I wonder why that is. I already know the answer, but I want to see if you can figure it out.
It's just the game.
It is. Yep, that's right. The game knows. You got that right, Mr. 40 Watt. 437 into the Mutoid Man fight for Firebroth, and RambleRick, unfortunately, getting in trouble, in tank trouble. And there's an orb, but he's going to have to do a lot of dancing to keep that one healthy because both gunners are still on the wall. Yeah, that's just a tough spot where RambleRick is right now. And he's going to be using a continue, it looks like, before we even get to the Mutoid Man fight. Rockets.
Rockets for Firebroth, cleaning them out, now just waiting around for drops. Looks like, as I've heard it put, Mutoid Man pulling a mother hen.
I like that. It's a good phrase to call it. And there's a dude for RambleRick after he takes the continue, of course.
Yeah, that continue asking you, of course, if you want to continue, you got to press pause or start after a certain amount. And yes, when it asks you to continue, if you press start too early, you can just pause the game.
There's another orb for Rick. Yeah, I got overwhelmed there. Again, when you're talking about tank trouble and the spawn rate being like an Arena 3 room, it's just easy to get overwhelmed like that. So RambleRick a 549 into Mutoid Man. Again, a PB is still possible if he gets a nice Mutoid Man fight. That's a long ways to go for Firebroth. Yeah, no chance.
Yeah, and I would even kind of note that if you're a player of this game and you want to get more honed into playing tank trouble, maybe play some normal or start into
wow. 3. Rude game is rude, and then he gets a spreader. It's in the absolute wrong spot. He'll have like no invulnerability to use it with.
I'm honestly surprised he made it to the spreader.
Right. He died pretty early. There's a spreader for Rick. Decided to just go after it and not make the intentional death. There's a lobber. That'll do more damage. There you go. There you go. An ultimate form for Firebroth now.
Moving into those grenades. Gonna do a high damage rate. Plow him into the shoulders now that we know the top area is a little more vulnerable.
And final form for Firebroth. He is not going to be pleased about this run as he also takes a continue.
Hey, no harm, no foul. Equals out on both sides.
It most certainly does. Yeah, he's not going to be happy about this time at all, but again, survive and advance. That's what you have to do. And of course, the spreader in a perfect spot when you don't need it.
Yeah, you don't have to be fast. You just have to win.
Yep. I mean, you want to be fast. I mean, you don't have to be at your fastest, but you just want to win. Exactly. And there it is. Firebroth moving on to the next round of the second chance bracket. Unfortunately, that means we're going to be saying goodbye to RambleRick.
Yes, but thank you for being part of this tournament. Thank you for the effort. We love having new people, and we hope to see you around through the year and in next year's tournament.
And he had a nice PB earlier today, that 8:13, shaving off more than a half minute from his previous PB. So well done. So all of our runners had a lot to prove today, and you know, they really stepped up and performed tonight.
Yep, and what I'm excited about is this just kind of gives us a sneak preview moving forward about what we're going to see as far as our matches. A lot of them are going to be extremely close, going the distance. We've said a million times, this is the most stacked we've ever seen it competitive-wise. Our leaderboard is insane. I remember when there was like 6 people with a sub 6, and now top 20 is like sub 6, top 10 is like 530 and under or something insane.
Yeah, you've got 11 runners who are 535 or better. You've got now 20 runners under the sub 550 mark.
Oh, wow.
And then you've got some runners that are knocking on the footstep of sub 6. I'm looking at this list, and based on who's been running right now, I really think I'm making a prognostication here that Ito87 is going to be the 27th member of that club.
I would not doubt that whatsoever, unless we have someone else just knocking on the door.
Absolutely, that could happen at any time. Don't get me wrong.
But I think that's a very, very safe bet.
All right, so RambleRick will finish with a 908. But GG's to both of our runners in this game. Again, congratulations to RambleRick for getting a great PB in a tournament setting, no less. But it is going to be Firebroth moving on to the next round of the second chance bracket. We have a lot of games coming up tomorrow night. Eight 40 watt.